a phone call from my sister. And she had called and said, hey, do you guys remember that girl Sarah that was with me? And I said she was my friend. She said she lied to see that that's actually her girlfriend. So that's when she came out. And I got so mad. I wasn't mad at her for being gay. I was mad because that's what I was going to do.
For a while, I was like secretly bisexual. I didn't really come out of the closet till about a year ago, actually, on Facebook.
And I know for me, having my mom also be bisexual and having her, in my life, it made it easier for me to tell my mom that I was bisexual.
So I grew up in a small town on the Oregon coast, and I never knew a gay person. I thought I was the only one.
It was really hard though when I came out when I was more open about it. I was still in high school. It was a very unfriendly environment. There weren't a lot of queer identified individuals that were out and proud. And if they were bullied, and the administration didn't really do anything about it.
And ever since then, so far, I've been lucky because I've had a lot of acceptance, and no one's been really homophobic to me. I've been lucky, basically, which I wish that was the case for everybody.
And at the same time that I came out and said I was transgendered, my best friend was then kicked out of her house because she came out to her family and said that she was a lesbian.
Queer youth are at high risk for things like drug and alcohol abuse and suicidality and self-harming behavior and mental health issues and homelessness and running away.
Gay youth face a lot of obstacles that straight youth face, which is just being listened to less than adult counterparts.
They face not being able to live up to their full potential. They don't have the confidence to walk down the street with their head up high. They don't have the confidence to embrace who they are fully.
My uncle, it was in high school and he was kind of confused what he wanted to do. He didn't know if he didn't want to approach his mother and my grandma about it. And it built lots of stress on her, and it was really hard for him growing up because people didn't really accept him. He was the nerd and he played with Legos and stuff.
The lack of support within school systems, as well as the lack of representation in the media.
Most people I know have had some amount of obstacles. Some of it's just having to build up that personal courage to talk about it. Some of it is getting kicked out. Some of it is facing abuse due to coming out. And then there's the people who don't experience any problems with their families, and so that's great too. I think that it just varies so much person to person. Seeing gay stereotypes in the media is I think frustrating for me because I know that it's not just people within that community watching it and relating to it, it's people outside of that community who maybe don't have direct experience with LGBTQ communities, and so they're going to form a lot of opinions based off of those stereotypes.
So some people might hear a stereotype that hurts them and they're able to recognize it as a stereotype and not internalize it. Some people hear the stereotype and feel like it must be true if somebody's saying it, and so they might feel badly about themselves.
I think that there are a lot of stereotypes, and some have a reason for existing. Some exist only because of homophobia or other things like that, because, well, people fear what they don't know. I've only lived in Portland for about 2 years, but the queer atmosphere here has seemed pretty open.
I would say it's kind of open and accepting.
You're free to be whatever you want to be, whether it's gay, straight, transgender, queer, lesbian, bi.
What I know about SMERC is that it's mostly a drop-in center for LGBT youth, ages 13 through 23, and they provide a safe place, and they provide counselors and other services that youth may need.
At At SMERC, I'm the director, which means that I supervise all of the staff and interns that work here, and I help create programs. We serve about 1,000 queer-identified youth every year. We're open every single week.
The bowling alley offered to donate 2 hours of free bowling, and so we don't often get to do a lot of outings as a group, partially because of lack of funding, and so we were just kind of taking advantage of a really nice offer and got a bunch of people together, sent out emails, and talked about it a lot in drop-in, and invited all of our youth and staff and volunteers to just come and hang out and kind of have a non-drop-in time to bond.
Working at SMERC, I interact with a lot of queer adults who walk into our space, and many of them cry and talk about how they wish they had a space like this when they were growing up. And it feels really safe, and it feels like home, and it makes them remember what it was like to be a queer youth and want to support queer youth today.
Do I have any advice for people coming out? Come out the closet when you're ready, and to people you trust.
Do it in a way that's comfortable and safe to them, and they shouldn't feel like they're forced to come out. You know, it's totally okay to not.
And as difficult of a situation that you might find yourself in now, there are places out there, there are people out there that will like you, accept you, and love you for who you are.
Even if they're your family or your best friends, get to know them a little better. And when you're ready to tell them, don't sugarcoat it too much.
Find a support group, talk to your parents, hopefully they're understanding. Teens nowadays that want to come out, find a safe person.
Be prepared for a bunch of questions, like, are you sure? Or some statements like, this is only a phase. And be ready to back it up with some facts.
Me and their family is usually the first people you go to, or one of the first. And if those people don't accept you, you're gonna have a lot of trouble. So you're gonna need somebody to talk to, and I try to be there for them as much as I could.
Find someone that you trust and that you can honestly express yourself without, feeling judged and, feeling like being scared of I don't know what's gonna happen. And, if you don't have those sort of people in your life, go to SMERC so that when it is time to tell your parents, or come out to your friends, then you have that extra confidence and you have somewhere that you can go, that even if it doesn't work out, you still have those people who care about you.
So the thing at the end of the day is, ladies and gentlemen, is that you are so much more than your orientation. You know it and I know it. So don't let those bullies and those ignorant, fearful, small-minded people prove you wrong. You have to be strong, and you have to pay attention to the positive. And in doing so, you will push through, and you will rise up, and you will live your life to the fullest.